This is, I'm really excited about this. Hopefully we have enough time. I want to cram all of it in. This class has taken like 2 hours to do in the past, so I can run this thing out, but I can also do the cliff notes, make sure we touch all the important stuff. So I want to make sure we get value out of it, but it may run a tad long. Again, I did this 2 hours, so it's important that I need the energy up, right? So people need to be nodding their heads and laughing at my jokes, otherwise it gets kind of long. So the agenda, what we're going to talk about today, the most important piece of the puzzle, what most people get wrong when they are, sorry, I'm going to move this a little bit. Sorry, Lindsay. Most important piece of the puzzle, what most people get wrong whenever they are doing goal setting. Figure out what you really want. It's a big important piece. A lot of people skip that piece when they're doing their goal setting. Understand how to set effective goals. We're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to give you some homework to do after this. We're not going to set goals here. This is the explanation. Then you got to go do the exercise of actually setting it. And then last is February Schmebuary. Normally we try to do this like November and December so we can get ready for January in 2026. It's almost February now. Normalize setting goals that are not just in January. That's okay. New Year's resolutions are normally garbage. If there's not something that lights a fire under your butt, or if it's not something you really want, just because it's January doesn't mean you're going to change anything about your life, right? So it's okay if you set goals in March or June or September for the next rolling 12 months or whatever that looks like, right? When we started the company, we set 1 year, 3 year, 10-year goals. It's okay. You don't have to do them in January. So don't think you're behind or if you can't reset your goals if you didn't feel like you did them adequately. So the first couple, most important piece of the puzzle and figure out what you really want is more motivational mindset. And then we're going to go into tactical strategy type stuff and actually make sure we're doing this the right way. Because again, I think a lot of people do it the wrong way. So I think the problem with most people when they do goal setting is they create some arbitrary thing that they put just over the horizon, and then they're constantly changing it, or their management is changing it, or their team leader is changing it, and they're chasing this thing that they don't really want, but someone told them they need to do it. So the number one thing I see in real estate is a six-figure salary. Everyone wants $100,000. When you're brand new or when you're coming in, that's what you're going for. When my question to you is why? What does 100 do for you that 90 wouldn't, or that 95 wouldn't? Or does it do what you want? Is 200 what you need? Is 110 what you need? Don't just put arbitrary goals that are set there by the industry or your team or whatever. Figure out what you really want. Okay. So again, what is success? Success, Earl Nightingale was a motivational speaker in the 50s. Still very relevant if you ever watched his videos or heard any of his stuff. Really, really great stuff. He defined success as the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Success is not a destination. It is the realization of whatever it is you're working for. That's okay. And so you don't have to be there. If success becomes a destination, then it's always over the horizon. If you ever get it and you're like, I just want to sell, make 100 grand. You'll get 100 grand and it's like nothing's different, right? There's still no money in the bank account somehow, right? Then I need 200 and I get 200 and guess what? It's the exact same feeling. There's nothing there. It's not a place. It's the realization of that goal.
Hey Brett, another good one for Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale is the strangest secret.
You're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I got you. Really good, 20-minute video, really, really good video. So, most important piece of the puzzle. Now we're getting into it. Most people skip this part. Prepare your mind mentally for getting into the goal setting process. If you are, whether you're doing anything, negotiating, talking with clients, prospecting, whatever, you will be significantly more impactful and effective if you are in a positive or a neutral mindset than a negative mindset. And we've all been mad one day or upset or not feeling good or whatever, right? You're in a negative mindset, or even a neutral is not as powerful as a positive mindset. And so make sure you are preparing to do these and you're intentional and you actually figure out what you really, really want. You might hear me say what you really want like 20 times today, but it's very important. Goals are useless if you don't actually want to achieve them, okay? So, Brett's Golden Triangle of Success, registered trademark. 3 things, if you're going to be successful in anything. Who's seen this before? I've done this a lot. Who's seen that? Yeah, okay. It's not new, but people forget about it when they set goals or when they do anything. To be successful at anything, you have to have 3 pieces. You have to have a goal. Without a goal, you are just reacting to life. right? You've probably been in those phases of your life. I've gone through weeks or months where I'm just kind of reacting. I'm not actually working towards anything. And you feel it. You sink into those sometimes. You have to be working towards something. Without a goal, you are reacting. You have to have a plan. A goal without a plan is a wish. I wish that I get rich one day. How are you going to do it? I don't know. I don't even know. Rich is not a goal, right, either. So you have to have a goal, has to be clear. You have to have a plan. You have to know how you're going to get there. And the last thing, most important, is you have to take action. The best goal, the most worthy goal, the best plan means nothing if you sit on your couch all day. You have to have all three of these. Sorry, buddy, you're out. So if at any point you have two of these three things, maybe you accomplish some things, but you're never really going to go far, right? You're going to be like a one-legged duck, kind of going in circles. You're doing stuff, but you're not actually accomplishing anything. So in our goal-setting process, that's why we come up with our goal, we come up with our plan, and then we actually start writing down our action. We figure out what we can do in the next week, what we can do in the next month, so we can actually start taking action on a plan to achieve the goal. Having a goal is different. Having a goal with a plan and taking action is way better. Think about what you want continuously. So every motivational speaker, philosopher, thinker for the last 2,000 years has all said about the same thing. We become what we think about. Earl Nightingale. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Marcus Aurelius. A man is what he thinks about all day long. Ralph Waldo Emerson. As he thinketh in his heart, so he is. Proverbs 23:7. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha. So, again, this is not new. Your thoughts will shape your reality, and whatever you put into your head is what you are going to perceive in reality. Very important. Put yourself in a neutral or positive mindset. In general, not negative, because for obvious reasons. So again, think about you have to see the things you want before you go get them. Otherwise, you're never going to run into them, right? So we are the only animal on Earth that can actually see things before they happen, right? Every other animal is reacting. They're trying to find shelter, they're trying to find food, they're trying to do whatever else animals do, but they're instinctively reacting to their environment. We are the only animal on the planet that we know of that can actually imagine and plan and take action. And so use that. Most people go through life reacting to everything, never actually having a plan or taking action on it. So think about what you want to accomplish, put it in the front of your mind, read it, look at it, all those things. We'll talk about that. But most people, again, don't do it. One big tip here, so whenever you get this link, or whenever you get this slideshow, you'll have a link to here. It's a clarity break explanation of what a clarity break is. So the book Traction is an operational book, and it helps entrepreneurs operate their small business. They talk about clarity breaks, and so the idea is you can do them weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, whatever, but you sit down with a blank piece of paper and you think about whatever the problem you're trying to solve is. Business, prospecting, your kids, whatever you're dealing with right now, get a blank piece of paper, no distractions, no phone, no internet, no nothing, and you just think. And your brain is going to wander all over the world. It will think if you forgot to change the laundry, did you fill up that car with gas, what am I missing, what do I have to do tomorrow, did I forget to do something yesterday? And eventually, if you keep trying to bring it back to your problem, it'll clear and your brain will just start spitting off, it'll start brainstorming. It'll just start spitting off ideas, thoughts, problems, opportunities, and you just start writing things down. And one thing I think is super interesting, you have to rid yourself of distractions and technology. Because I'm the same way where I'll be jumping into this and I'll want to look something up to see if my idea has been thought of or if my idea could work. So I'll pull up a calculator or I'll pull up the internet to Google something. Get rid of it, do all that later. Put everything down as much as you can without it. So years ago, after college, I lived in Dallas. I didn't have any friends in Dallas, so I watched a lot of TV and read books and stuff. It was terrible. And someone told me to read the autobiography of Ben Franklin, and I got about halfway through it. But one thing I thought was super interesting was he outlines his day, how he spends his day. And he spends at least an hour a day thinking. That was just in his schedule, just thinking. And I can't stand in line at Chick-fil-A for 30 seconds without pulling out my phone. And he would spend an hour a day thinking about whatever was on his mind, whatever he was working on, whatever it was. It's not work, it's literally thought. And the brain is an incredible tool that we use not a fraction of. So these clarity breaks can unleash that a little bit, unlock that, tap into it. You start to think of things that you thought, how did I not see that or think of that? I've done this several times, and each time I come out of it with something that I can use to tweak something in my business every single time. So it's a cool tool. And the idea is do this when you're setting your goals. Again, when we go through the actual exercise of setting your goals, you need to unleash your mind a little bit from what you're used to, or what you think you can accomplish, or what you think you should accomplish, all that. Get rid of the distractions, create clarity. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And it'll allow your brain to start working, to start doing what it's supposed to do. So the most important piece of the puzzle is think. Most people just jump into goals and write down, I want to make this, I want to sell this many, I want to have this, and they're done. And then they just put it on their mirror or something, like that matters. So think about what you want, think about how you're going to achieve it. The next piece is figure out what you really want, right? What do you really want? Who's seen this movie? If you haven't seen it, it doesn't make any sense, but I think it's really funny. Right? Yeah. 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 Two types of people. Liars? Okay. So what do you really want? Very important. We do this with the team. We set goals because I don't want you to achieve the arbitrary goal I put on you because you won't do it. You won't hold yourself accountable. You won't show up to the meetings. You won't do the things you're supposed to. You need to figure out what you want. Why do you want them? What does that do for you? What freedom does that give you? What opportunity does that give you? Why do you want these things? And then you will have the sticking power to actually complete these things. So important to understand, it's going to be hard. Be patient. The reason it's so important that you think through this and really create the items that you really, really, really want and why you really, really want them is because when you start taking action, there will be a million distractions. And sometimes distractions come in the form of opportunities, but they take you away from what you really want. And if you don't really want it, you will take those distractions and you will take those opportunities, and that will become your excuse. That will be why you didn't do what you say you were supposed to do, because of some opportunity, some distraction. So the more you really, 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 really want it, and why you really, really want it, gives you patience and gives you strength to go through the opportunities that will distract you, all the distractions, all the excuses, because we all have a million, and they're all good. A lot of people have really, really good excuses, really good ones, that I can't fault anyone at all for taking that, but it is exactly that. It's an excuse. People who have had your same exact circumstances have done what you're trying to do, and they didn't quit. It is an excuse. It's a really good one. It's a really good one. But if you don't really, really want this, you'll take that excuse. You'll take that opportunity to not do it. And everyone will say you're right. It's tough. And no one will get mad at you, but you will not accomplish what you wanted. So don't let that become your excuse. Again, all good things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Neither will your real estate business. And so I heard a long time ago a good definition of patience. And patience is to suffer well. A lot of people look at people who are patient and think, gosh, I wish I was patient. It sucks for them as much as it sucks for you. They're just suffering well. And that's a muscle you can exercise too, right? So suffer well. No, it's not easy. You look at Graham and you think, God, he's got it all. It's so easy. How come it's so easy for him? He's suffering well, right? It's better. Whatever that is, we all have our own things. We all have stuff we suffer through. How well can you keep doing it? Be patient. Stick to what your plan is, right? So suffer well. Clarity creates patience. The more you can visualize what you want, the more real you make it in your head, that creates more sticking power and more patience. Again, the number one distraction is not a kid saying, go do this with me. The number one distraction is some other shiny object. That's what pulls most people away from their goals. It's not roadblocks, it is shiny objects. And so clarity in your mind and visualization creates that patience for you to stick to what you're doing. I've got more shiny object syndrome than everyone combined in this room, I promise you. And it was incredible. When we first started Copper Creek, I had certain goals I needed to hit, and these goals could springboard us into these goals, and so I had to put every opportunity and distraction as much as I could. And I still bid on some, and I still went down some paths I shouldn't have, but that is going to be your number one distraction is opportunities, shiny objects. So clarity, why you want that. What does that look like when you get it? What does it feel like? That clarity is going to create patience for you. Think about what you're thinking about. So here's a little mindset trick I use all the time. I use it every single morning. I use it every day. When you're supposed to be doing something, right? Maybe it's prospecting, maybe it's making phone calls, going to the gym, whatever. your brain's going to say, you can do that later. Why are you doing it right now? What if they don't answer? They're probably eating dinner. They're probably doing what, right, do it later. Your brain's going to negotiate with you and try to sabotage you every time you're supposed to be doing something harder that you're supposed to be doing. And so if you ever feel yourself trying to talk yourself out of something, and this is you have to think about what you're thinking about. Feel yourself in that minute trying to talk yourself out of it. And then you need to think about what you're actually thinking about. Am I thinking about the opportunity associated with that task or the obligation? And most people are thinking about the obligation and not the opportunity. They're thinking, I have to make these phone calls because Brett said so. My team leader is making me go on these appointments. I have to do whatever this is, I have to go do it because I was told to. Versus the opportunity of making those phone calls. I love talking about FSBOs because more opportunities come out of FSBOs for me than anything else in my business. I've met builders that have had me list 8 houses all at once when I met with them. I met an investor that had 40 houses to sell over the next 6 years. You have no idea the opportunity that exists on the other side of that conversation. And that's what you need to be thinking about whenever you're struggling to do something because you're lazy right now, or it's cold outside, or there's a winter storm coming in, whatever this is, right? Tons of excuses why not to go prospect this weekend. But are you thinking about the obligation to do these things, or are you thinking about the opportunity on the other side of them? Make sense? Your brain will try to talk you out of everything if it's hard. It's your defense mechanism to not fail or to not get hurt or to not do things hard. So think about what's the opportunity on the other side of this. What have you given? I love asking new people this. This is my favorite. If I have permission to be mean to people, like people say I've done this or this or this, I haven't sold houses or I haven't got a list or I haven't done. I always ask, what have you given? What have you done? Why would a client work for you? If you were doing FSBOs from the year of 2013 to 2015, you had to compete against me. And I was out doing 30 plus FSBOs a month. Why on earth would anyone work with you if I'm out there doing them, right? What have you done to deserve that business from that person? That's what you have to think about. Not, dang it, why can't I get any clients? It's why have I not become the person those clients deserve? Does that make sense? So what have you given to get these goals? What have you sacrificed to get these goals? So I like to use this visualization of the pendulum. So imagine a pendulum. You don't have to imagine. I drew one for you. On one side, it's suffering, fear, and doubt. On the other side, it's opportunity, success, freedom. Now, the pendulum, in direct proportion to the amount that you pull it back, it will swing forward, right? But it's a little harder than that. I put this little piece of glass right here to make it even more annoying because you're starting a new business and you're going to do a disproportional amount of work in the beginning than you will once your business is up and running. So if I pull that pendulum back a little bit and let it go, it's not going to break through that glass. Nothing's going to happen. I have to pull it back a disproportionate amount to get it to break through that glass and swing into the other side. Does that make sense? The more I get outside of my comfort zone and outside with suffering and fear and doubt and uncertainty and let it go, the more it will swing into opportunity, success, and freedom. And here's the annoying part. What happens next? Comes right back, doesn't it? You have to keep doing it. The minute you stop getting outside of your comfort zone is the minute you will stagnate. Your business, I use this analogy, being in real estate is like walking up the down escalator. If you stop for a minute, it's going to take you right back down to the bottom. You have to constantly be walking up, taking action. Your business is either growing or it is shrinking. There is no stagnation in real estate, in business, period. In life, I'll say. So it's constantly swinging. The more you swing it back, the more it swings forward. Very important. Comfort zone is dangerous. Get outside of your comfort zone. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has a good quote, right? Any Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fans out there? Success is not owned, it's rented. Rent is due every day, right? So, true. There is no one's ever made it. Everyone who you look at that's made it is doing their own suffering that you don't see to get past and to get through, I promise. So, sacrifice who you are for who you will become. I love this visualization. The person you are now, your goal is to make $500,000. The person you are now cannot make $500,000. Wouldn't know what to do it if they made it. Who you are has to die to become the person that you want to be. The things you do now, the person making $500,000 doesn't do. The person that makes $500,000 does things you're not doing, right? So what you are and who you are now must die to become the person that you want to become. And hopefully it's a better version of whatever you are, right? So it's important to know that what you're doing you might not be able to do what you're doing now and accomplish your goals. You have to stop some stuff. And so understand there is growing pains. You're going to have to change who you are and what you do, what you allow other people to do, what you allow your time to be spent on. All these things have to change so that you can grow into whatever it is you want. If you do what you've always done, you'll have what you've always had. To get what you've never had, you have to do what you've never done. Make sense? Very simple, but you have to change your activity. I can't remember if I say this later or not. Jim Rohn has a really good quote. Don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. FSBOs don't get easier the more you do. Open houses, they don't get easier. You're dealing with the same crazy people. Every crazy seller I deal with, you're dealing with the same crazy sellers. I'm just better at handling them than most people, right? It's not because I get better clients or I'm whatever. I've done more. I've handled more crazy sellers than you, so I'm better at handling the crazy sellers. I love when new agents say I have the craziest deal right now. No, you don't. It's not any crazier than the ones anyone has. We're just not dealing with it properly, right? And so again, don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. What have you done? What have you sacrificed? Why should this be easy for you? All right, I love this. Some people live 70 years and some people live 1 year 70 times. I'm gonna blow that up for you. Some people live 70 years and some people live 1 year 70 times. I read this at a period of my life where I was living the same month over and over and over again. Again, I'd fallen into this stagnation of like, I wasn't growing. I was just maintaining what I had. And I read this and it shook me to my core. And there's a good, where is it? So there's a good quote from a guy named Charlie Jones. That's what it is. You will be the same person today as you are 5 years from now, except for the people you meet and the books that you read. So if you're not meeting new people, reading new books, expanding your experience, expanding your knowledge, you are the same person today as you were 5 years ago, as you were however long ago, right? What do you do through high school and college? You read books and meet new people, right? And then when we get a job, we stop. We read a bunch of fiction maybe, or something to entertain us, but no one's expanding. I saw a stat that says if you read 5 books on one single topic, you're in the top 95% of knowledge in the world on that topic. 5 books on one topic, and you're in the top 95% of people in the world about it. So very simple. People they don't expand their knowledge at all or meet new people. So again, if you're not constantly getting outside of your comfort zone, reading things, meeting new people, expanding your knowledge, self-education is huge in the real estate world. You have to go seek. I'm here trying to do as much as we can in the trainings and all these things, but you have to self-educate so much. Don't let someone else determine your success or failure because they're not giving you the education you want or need. Go seek that out. So very important. Some people live 70 years, some people live 1 year 70 times. Don't live the same year over and over and over again. So again, what do you really want? Understand it's going to be hard. Clarity is going to create patience for you. Think about what you're thinking about when things get hard so you can trick your mind into looking at the obligation, not the opportunity, or the opportunity, not the obligation. And then what have you given? Get outside your comfort zone. Go become that person that deserves the goals you're setting for yourself. All right, understanding how goals work. Law of attraction, everyone heard of this, read the book, The Secret, whatever it is. Science calls it selective experiencing. There is so many stimulants in this world, your brain can't process everything. So it filters a lot of it out and filters on and focuses on the things. Who's been in a restaurant and heard someone say the word real estate in a crowded restaurant, right? It's like, someone buying, how? Someone, it's just, the words catch. And so your world is, so again, I use the example of someone buys a white pickup truck. What car do you see all over the road now? White pickup trucks everywhere. I didn't know there were so many until I bought my white pickup truck. Same exact thing. Your mind is going to see whatever you tell it to see because it cannot. So important to understand when we're talking about goals, the idea of positive goals versus negative goals, or target goals versus avoidance goals, right? And so there's a big problem. So Simon Sinek had a video talking about this, and he says if you're going skiing, well, he said you can't, your brain doesn't deal with negatives or opposites or avoidance. So if I say, what is his? Yeah, there it is. I was trying to think. He had a bad one I didn't like. So if I say, don't eat chocolate today, you're seeing chocolate everywhere, right? It's never been more plentiful. There's granola bars over there, and you're gonna smell out the chocolate in them, right? You're just gonna, I see it. If I say don't do this, you're training your brain to identify it, and then you're depending on your willpower to avoid it. You can't process avoidance negatives. You have to process positives, targets. Does that make sense? So again, jumping ahead a little bit, she sat through this class before. He used the example of going skiing, right? If you're going down the mountain saying, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, all your trees are popping up everywhere. Instead, we're going down the mountain and say, stick to the path, stick to the path, stick to the path. Trees disappear and the path presents itself, right? The path and the trees were there the whole time, but your brain's identifying different items to watch. So very important, don't set goals for yourself that are avoidance goals. I want to drink less. I did this the other day. I want to drink less, I want to eat less, I want to eat less chocolate, less junk food. Those things are everywhere, and you will see them everywhere. Yeah, chocolate, yeah, just like, what happened? Woke up in a field with just, so don't set avoidance goals. Set the target you want to achieve. So rather than stop drinking, the goal should be find another beverage to fill that ritual with, right? And that's gonna give you the opportunity to stick with it. Not drink less, eat less, whatever. Create that goal, not the avoidance. Your goal shouldn't be to avoid something. Your goal should be to target something. Make sense? A lot of people set goals to stop doing stuff in their life when they should be changing their activity somehow. So don't try to avoid. Obvious, we've all heard this, make SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. The more specific, the more clarity, the more you can visualize it, the clearer it's gonna be, the more likely you're gonna hit it. Measurable, it can't be subjective. I have to be able to know if I've accomplished this or not. I have to be able to track it. Am I taking steps toward this or not? Attainable, if it's not attainable after 2 weeks, you're gonna quit because it's not realistic in your mind. It has to be relevant. This is what a lot of people struggle with. I've done this for years and years. One time I said I wanted to learn how to play the piano. The piano is so irrelevant to my life. This was before I had children. This was like, me playing the piano does nothing for me. And so it was the easiest thing to just not do. This has to be relevant to your life, to your goals, whatever. So set those goals, that's great, but why do you want to play the piano? 99.9% of the rooms I'm in don't have pianos. It's a great tool, I'm sure, but as an adult in real estate, it does very little for me. And so it's super important. Make sure these goals we're setting have some relevance for you and have some value for you. And if that playing the piano has value and relevance for you in a hobby or whatever, great. But if it's not relevant to your life and your constant daily activity, again, just why am I doing this? You're gonna quit it. And then timely, whether that be, again, normalize setting goals in the middle of the year, right? Give yourself 3 months, 90 days, 6 months, 3-year goals I think are important. You can accomplish, I think Bill Gates has a quote, you always overestimate what you can do in a year, but underestimate what you can do in 3 years. And so set yourself long, big goals, and then set yourself benchmark goals. We'll talk about those. So make sure it's timely. You have to have a date on it, otherwise it won't get done. Again, we've probably all heard this, the importance of writing it down. 90% of people don't write down their goals. You're 10 times more likely to accomplish your goals if you write them down, according to a Harvard Business study. 65% chance of accomplishing them if you tell someone. 95% chance if you have regular accountability meetings, according to American Society of Training and Development. 87% of stats are made up, right? Whatever that is, but I did get those from the internet, I promise. So writing it down is incredibly important. Again, all these things we're talking about, we build into our goal setting process. So I didn't just want to tell you what to do, I'm telling you why we're doing these things. Goal, plan, action, right? Write them down, look at them regularly. You will have a significantly higher chance. Businesses have a, they tend to drift, right? They each day they change like 1 degree off their goal, and then 6 months goes by and they're not even aiming in the same direction as they were when they started, right? So you set your goals in January, by June, I don't even remember what I said I wanted to accomplish. Or I wanted to accomplish A, and now I'm chasing B. And so when you can look at it, if they really, really want them, they're relevant, all those things, then when you look at them, you're staying fixed on the target. And when you drift, you correct yourself. And you're actually going to actually accomplish something versus, again, going in circles. One-legged duck, swimming in circles. So, very important. Write them down, look at them. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual tactical piece exercise of doing the goal setting. So we talked about why they're important. We talked about the how you need to think, how it's going to be hard, create patience. Clarity creates patience. Now we're going to do the actual exercise. This is your homework. Whenever we send all this out, we are cooking through this thing. That's great. Thank you, man. I have so much extra stuff in here that we just didn't. You're just not going to know it. So you'll have a link to this worksheet. This is a 4-page worksheet to go through to set your goals. It starts with the clarity break, right? Expanding my mind. No distractions, no technology. I'm expanding my mind on what I want, what's possible, why, all these things, right? Think big. So I'll go through each one. And then we're going to go into the plan. Then we're going to set the goals, go into the plan, go into action. So page 1 of the 4 pages is we're going to write down, so I'll just read it out loud. Fill out 3 goals per topic that you want to achieve this year. This many goals is too many to focus on, but the exercise will allow you to liberate your minds and your wild ambitions. Don't be afraid to think big. Set big goals for yourself to strive for. Most people don't achieve as much as they could, not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. So this first, it's going to ask you to set 3 business goals, 3 financial goals, 3 physical goals, 3 mental goals, 3 family goals, 3 spiritual goals, 3 lifestyle goals, 3 relationship goals. The idea is to just expand, get everything out. What could I possibly want to improve upon in the next however many months we're going to set for ourselves? Get all of it out. Again, this is kind of the clarity break piece. This should be, the last thing you want to do is just fill out what's on the top of your mind. Think through all these things, and you might have 10 business goals and 10 family goals and 1 spiritual goal and 1 lifestyle, whatever it might be. Try to fill as much as you can because you're going to be forcing your brain to scour for ideas, right? Try to fill out as much as we can. Then we're going to go on to page 2, where we're going to start whittling this clarity break, these big ideas. We're going to start whittling it down to some actual goals. So page 2, we're going to break down of those 40 or however many goals we had. From all the goals you wrote on the previous page, narrow them down to your top 10 goals and set deadlines. So here you're going to put the topic, if it was a business goal, physical goal, mental goal, whatever, you're going to put a topic, the goal, and then when you want to have it accomplished by. Again, not everything is a 12-month goal. Put a 3-year goal on here, and then next year it has 2 more years until you need to accomplish it. And then put these goals wherever you want them to be. I think you should always, in business, in life, start with the end in mind. Where am I trying to go by taking this next step? Where do I hope it ends? And put that down, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. What am I trying to accomplish here? Put that down so you stay on it. Otherwise, again, 3 years goes by and you're just walking in a big circle. So we're going to narrow it down to 10. From the 10, we're going to identify our banner goals. The idea is to limit what you focus on. Do less to achieve more, right? You heard the saying, chase 2 rabbits, you catch none. Limit what you're thinking about and it allows you to accomplish more. So when you're coming up with your banner goals, think of these as like, if I accomplish this banner goal, it will allow me to accomplish these other things, right? So if I want to buy a beach house, I better sell some real estate to buy a beach house, right? Or I better make some money elsewhere. So banner goals are going to be the things that that increase the likelihood of you accomplishing the other goals. Make sense? So banner goals are going to lead to your other goals, or you can call them cornerstone goals. Some people call them, but the banner goals are the 3 things I need to focus on to allow me to achieve the other things I want to achieve. So again, we're going to go from the 40 on the other page to the 10 to the 3. And then we are going to create intermediate destinations. So we're going to use this to plot out our year. So whatever the actions we need to do or the results we need through quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, we're going to write them down here. So that way, again, I can look at it 90 days from now and think, holy crap, I haven't done anything to get towards this goal. Or I'm way ahead. I can actually adjust this a little bit. But if you don't look at it, again, most people write goals and never look at them again, period. But if you can look at this regularly, you can see where you're at. That's why making it measurable from the SMART acronym is very important. It has to be measurable. You have to take action towards it. So write down for your banner goal 1, where am I going to be in quarter 1? Where am I going to be at the end of quarter 2? Where am I going to be at the end of quarter 3 and quarter 4? And write those down so you can track them. Put them in your notepad, put them in your binder, put them in your bag, whatever. We're going to want to look at those as often as possible to track where we're at. Okay, so we've got our goals. Now we're actually coming up with the plan and the action. So on page 3, we want to do the take action piece. Identify what actions you can take in the next 24 hours, and then what actions you can take in the next 30 days to jumpstart your year and put you on the right track to accomplishing your intermediate destinations and subsequently your annual goal. So we had the goal. Now we're coming up with the plan. What can I do in the next 24 hours? What can I do in the next 30 days? And then we're going to go take action. But again, if my goal, so again, say my goal is to get 30 listings, okay? Next 24 hours, I can pull a list of every FSBO in Oklahoma City or every expired or every whatever. I can go buy RedX and so I can start buying data or whatever, right? What am I doing in the next 24 hours? And then what am I doing in the next 30 days? I need to go on 20 appointments in the next 30 days so that I can hit my intermediate 90-day goal of 100 appointments. Does that make sense? We're creating action and we're creating intermediate destinations to hit. So this is how we go from goal to actions. Think big, start small. Think big, start small. It says it right there. So what do we do in the next 24 hours? What can we do in the next 30 days to accomplish these banner goals? Banner goal 1, 2, and 3. So again, we're starting with the goal. We're starting with big mind, big thoughts, big ideas to what is really important to me and why. And then what am I doing in the next day? What am I doing in the next 30 days to accomplish that? And then page 4, the think and grow rich principle, very important, often overlooked as well, by me as well, but incredibly powerful process. So I'm going to read what it says. Write out a clear and concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. This statement is very literal. Do not type it out. Don't just think about it. Literally write it down. There's a reason you want to write it down. Look at studies about how people learn and memorize. Those who just hear or read tend to learn less than those who write it out. This is due to the fact that you are also giving yourself a visual symbol while processing each word you write down. So write out everything you have decided so far. Write it as many times as it takes to sink in. After you write it, make sure you read it at least once per day. I've done this really long-term twice in my career, year 1 and year 2. Both years I hit almost exactly very aspirational income goals. In both years, I did it almost exactly how I wrote it down. And then I stopped doing it because I'm busy just like everybody else and I forget. So incredibly powerful. I've done it several times. It's worked both times and it's an incredibly powerful tool. Think and Grow Rich is a really good book. Again, it's all about what I was talking about earlier. Your mind, you create your own reality inside your mind. And that's all this book is about. Same thing with The Science of Getting Rich. It's kind of all the same thing. Put what you want in here, and then it will start to manifest itself through your actions and through your perception of the world. It's not magic. It's very practical, but you determine what you see and how you interpret stuff. So you'll write this out. Again, I put it in my calendar. I looked at it most days, didn't even look at it every day, but I came back to it constantly and looked at it over and over again. So very, very important concept. Here you go, Lindsay. So once you finish your goal, read Think and Grow Rich, great book. Watch this YouTube video, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. It is a 19-minute video. He has a good voice. You know, he's a radio host that turned into salesman, turned into motivational speaker. But it's the basics. You become what you think about. Listen to it over and over again. You control the only thing you can control in this world is how you react to things. You cannot control what happens to you, only how you perceive it and how you react to it. And that's what this is all about. Put yourself in a positive, neutral mindset, and you will be shocked at your experiences, how they improve. And so, yep, yeah. At the end, he tells you, he talks about savings and activities, and he has a 30. At the end of it, he has again, good video. Do what it says. Really good homework for you as you get into this mindset of goal setting. What I want to accomplish next. Again, set 90-day goals, set 12-month goals, 3-year goals. This doesn't have to be a January to December thing. I think everyone gets trapped in that mindset of January to December, and it's nonsense. Set your goals, work to accomplish them. So also in this spreadsheet is a link. This is where we get a lot more tactical. And whenever you get this link, you'll go to this Google Sheet. It's important to, when you go to this Google Sheet, it's a Google Sheet, go up to File and hit Create Copy. I don't think you're allowed to edit anything in here. I think I've locked it all. But you create a copy and you can edit everything. The only thing you need to edit is the stuff in yellow. Everything else automates the math for you. Yeah, all you gotta do is set math. Now this is based off what I taught when I was selling real estate, which is open houses and FSBOs. It can be seller appointments, it can be expireds, it can be whatever. They're all gonna have really similar conversion rates normally. But it was open houses and FSBOs. If you're taking online leads, it can be buyer appointments. Same thing with open houses. You get 10 leads, probably gonna close one of them. That's what I calculated on my open houses. You're gonna have a 50% fallout rate from buyers that you work with. They're just gonna, you ever had that buyer that texts you and then throws their phone into the ocean and they're just like gone now forever? So that fallout rate is huge. You have to factor that in. So you just factor in what your average sales price is, your tax rate, your net income, your gross and net. Factor in what your average commissions are, what your splits are on your team or personally, and then it will just kick out what you need to go do. Really cool. So first thing you do, file, create copy. Second thing, watch this instructional video. It's like 2 minutes, shows you how to use the spreadsheet. But this will kick you out of plan. So like this person wants to make 100 grand. So after you pay the tax man, you have to make 121 grand. If you follow the law and pay what you're supposed to, but we have accountants that can get you out of that. So I need the average sales price is 250, and I want 60% of my deals to be listings and 40% of my deals to be buyers. And here's my average commission split. I need to sell 15 listings. I need to sell 29 properties. I need to get 29 contracts so I can sell 23 properties. Does that make sense? That's what we need to do. If I'm selling $250,000 homes, I have a 70% split. That's how many deals I need to do. And then it breaks it down. Okay, how many do I need to do in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, so I can track where I'm at intermittently. And then it shows me how many listing presentations. I need to go on 2 FSBOs a week to list 15 properties. Incredibly manageable. Problem is, people do it for 1 week or 2 weeks. Or if they're crazy, they'll do it for 3 weeks. But then they stop. So that's it. It's so simple. This stuff is so simple. It's a marathon, and you have to just stay consistent with it. That's it. That's the whole thing. Questions on any of this? Again, normally when I have more time, I like open each thing and go through it a lot more. This tool is pretty self-explanatory. I've locked a lot of the formulas so that you cannot mess them up. All you need to fill in is the yellow stuff, and then everything else will calculate. Then you can go down, and it scrolls down to see how many buyers do I need. There's a 10% conversion. I need to meet 139 buyers. So I need to sit 50 open houses or 50 leads per month, whatever it might be. It gives you your calculation. So you know how many buyers I need to be in front of, how many sellers I need to be in front of based on conversion rates, and I say what they are. I put a 25% conversion rate on FSBOs. So it kind of breaks down activity for prospecting. If you have your own prospecting, plug it in here. The reason I love open houses and FSBOs is that they are predictable. I know if I do X, I will get Y. Other things are not that predictable. So that's why I like to plug these in. Do things that you can control. If you're doing things you can't control, then you're out of control all the time. And so make sure you can take actions that you can control. Questions on this or anything else? I went through a lot faster than I thought I would. I hope this was still somewhat valuable. Okay. Yeah.
Brett, I also think aligning yourself with making like the people that you work with or the task that you do, because I'm 100% the person that will get on a
Yeah,
Why are you wasting my time?
yeah,
And at the end of the day, am I even getting mad at you because I'm helping you? Is
Yep.
it time? I'm implementing, do the task I do align with the goals that I'm trying to do every day? And if not, I don't do them.
yeah, that's,
And I'll set separate time for that.
yeah,
Because I've decided like when it's my work day, it's my work day.
Mhm.
And
yeah.
that is not to be so.
And like I said earlier, most of your distractions will come in the form of opportunities. A friend calls and says, "Can you help me with this?" That's interesting. That's cool. I'd kind of like to learn about that. But it's going to lead to nothing. Maybe it leads to a paycheck, but it doesn't do what you're trying to accomplish going forward. And so the more, yeah, 100%, you have to control where your greatest asset is your time. If you're truly out, I think realtors are really bad about being busy instead of productive. And so if you're really productive with your time, you have to protect that time. You can't go be chasing rabbits. If I know sitting here and making 20 calls is going to get me X listings, why would I go do something else when I know I could go do these things? Unless it's proven to me or someone shows me how this can happen, be protected with your time. Again, most of your distractions will come in the form of opportunities, not actually roadblocks. Understand that. Questions? All right, guys. That's it. We were out here on time. I thought we were going to be, sort of. I thought we were going to be.
Still breakneck pace.
I was breakneck. I recorded this a year or two ago, and it was the long version.